instead of whole big menus and all, it's better to serve what you are good at. Just one dish.
You have the bhaji, and that is then topped with the tari, which is cooked on a wood fire, and that tari simmers away gently, waiting to be united with the madki. So what we're going to do next is add some more onion and also some cut. Perhaps just a squeeze of lime, just to cut the spice of the cut. And now that misal is beginning to speak to you in a spicy Maharashtrian tongue.
The cooking methods and everything, it is all Gavran. It's like a village side kind of a thing.
So typically in village homes, there won't be too many ingredients.
Yeah.
जास्ती पदार्थ नसते तिकडे.
काय नाही, जे आहे तेवढ्या ह्याच्यामध्येच करायचं.
Great in flavor, but with the most minimal ingredients.
Right, correct.
Squish the vada pav in between the pav, the Mumbai Ladi pav. Hi folks, this is Kripal Amana, Gourmet on the Road, and you're watching Food Lovers TV. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe and strong. So today we've set out to explore some Maharashtrian fare. We've done 3 or 4 Maharashtrian eateries here in Bengaluru. We've done Surya Vanshi, Purna Brahma, and also Mast Marathi. If you haven't caught these episodes yet, I'm going to place links in the video description below. Do take a look. So today we've set out to savor some snacky Maharashtrian fare at this place called Gavran Misal. No points for guessing what one should taste. They have it in the name, the misal, and Gavran basically refers to a preparation that is very village style. So let's go in and find out what Maharashtrian fare at Gavran Misal is all about. Well, there's some hay hanging up here, so they're certainly trying to go for the rustic vibe here. Namaskara.
Namaskaram.
So you're Mr. Lakade?
Yes, I'm Sujit. I'm Sujit Lakade.
Okay, and हे तुमचं brainchild?
Yeah, this is my brainchild, yeah.
I can smell some smoke here. I can see some hay hanging out, so the vibe is certainly Gavran. Huh?
Yes, that's totally Gavran. The cooking methods and everything, it is all Gavran. It's like a village side kind of a thing, where you won't get most of the masalas or anything, but minimal masalas. The food should be tasty. That's the thing, and we cook on wood fire.
So typically in village homes, there won't be too many ingredients.
Yeah.
जास्ती पदार्थ नसते तिकडे.
काय नाही, जे आहे तेवढ्या ह्याच्यामध्येच करायचं.
So basically the challenge there is that how do you create dishes that are great in flavor but with the most minimal ingredients.
Right, correct.
So that is the concept behind Gavran Misal.
Yes.
So how did you start this?
It was in 2018, and our wife is basically from here. So it was decided like try to do something unique and new something.
So your wife is Kannadiga?
Yeah, she's Kannadiga. I'm also Kannadiga.
You're also Kannadiga?
I'm also Kannadiga.
But you've lived in
Maharashtra.
So yes, Kannada matadtira?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I speak Kannada also. This was a thing like which came to in my mind, like it is not available over here, and especially the authentic misal, what we saying.
So when you say authentic, see misal म्हणजे there is पुणेचे एक वेगळे मिसळ असते, कोल्हापूरचे वेगळे मिसळ असते, मुंबईमध्ये वेगळं.
The thing what happened मिसळमध्ये काय झालं की परत थोड्या दिवसानंतर प्रत्येकाच्या चवीच्या नुसार जर कोस्टलला वगैरे गेलं तर मग तिथं पांढरे वाटाणे, त्यानंतर मूग, कोणतर काळे वाटाणे घालतात, कडधान्य घालतात, स्प्राउट हे त्यांना. नाशिककडे गेलं तर त्यांचा फरसाण वेगळा, पुण्याकडे गेलं तर त्यांचा फरसाण वेगळा.
आणि कोल्हापूर
इट इज लाईक शेव चिवडा, ते क्रिस्पीनेस राहतं आणि त्याची टेस्ट एक वेगळी आहे. द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट पार्ट्स इज इन्ग्रेडियंट्स व्हॉट यू आर युझिंग इन. And I come from a business family. Since 1965 we are into food grains and pulses business. So I'm aware of the ingredients what you are putting into that. Even each and every ingredient what you eat in this
is from Kolhapur. हे सगळे काय आहे?
लॉकडाऊन झाल्या कारणानं सगळ्यांना ट्रान्सपोर्ट बंद होतं, हे ते नव्हतं, तर मग सगळ्यांनी एक तांदूळ पाहिजे, हे पाहिजे, कारण
राईस, पीपल वॉन्टेड महाराष्ट्रीयन इंग्रेडियंट्स,
कांदा लसूण
chutney. This is at the heart of many preparations, including the misal also.
Yes. म्हणजे गोडा मसाला.
गोडा मसाला. दिस इज अ गोडा मसाला.
These are गव्हाच्या कुरडई.
गव्हाचा कुरडई.
गव्हाच्या कुरडई.
हाऊ डू यू मेक इट विथ व्हॉट? व्हीट. आणि हे बेसनचा लाडू.
बेसन लाडू अगेन युअर फेवरेट.
ओ ठेचा.
कोल्हापुरी ठेचा आणि कोल्हापुरी खरडा.
खरडा. ग्रीन चिली.
मिरची, लाल मिरची.
लाल मिरची. इफ यू वॉन्ट टू फील स्पाइस, not just feel spice but have smoke coming out of your ears, these are the condiments to consume in liberal quantities. The thecha made
रेड चिलीज.
red chili आणि ते खरडा.
खरडा इज ग्रीन चिली.
खरडा म्हणजे ग्रीन चिली. फॅन्टॅस्टिक.
भडंग.
भडंग. स्पायसी पफ्ड राईस.
हा, हे सांगलीचे फेमस. कोल्हापुरात सुद्धा आहेत, पण हे सांगलीचे फेमस जरा.
गोरे बंदेचा भडंग. हा, स्पायसी पफ्ड राईस.
या, आणि सांगली फेमस आहे हळदसाठी. रिअली गुड इन सांगली.
So these are the sort of ingredients that go into the making of your misal.
या, दिस मसालाज अँड ऑल.
मेथकूट आहे का इकडे?
कुठं आहे. ह्याच्यामध्ये सगळ्या डाळी पावडर करून त्याच्यामध्ये चिली पावडर, गरम मसाले, दालचीन, लवंग, हे ते सगळं.
Basically all the aromatics that you see here along with the lentils. Like how we have the gunpowder or the papula podi in other parts of the south. That's the metkut. So basically this with some rice, with some ghee.
That's it.
That's all that you need.
Yeah.
This is the jawar flour. Jawaricha peat.
ज्वारीचं पीठ.
And this is the gahucha peat, the wheat flour.
Yeah.
Thali peat bhajni. So this is basically the mix to make the thali peat. So you've got
Yeah.
some rice, some jawar, some chana dal, the urad dal, wheat, coriander seeds and the moong dal. So you basically add some water, you make a dough.
And some onion and some chilies and all, and it's ready to.
Very interesting. Hey kai?
Jeera butter, our Maharashtrian famous to have it tea.
This goes best with some kadak hot chaha. How is it? Yeah? You guys are regulars here?
Yeah, often once in a week.
Once in a week. Fantastic. So you also serve the cut separately?
That is cut. That's the specialty of ours.
Happy eating.
Happy eating. Yeah, that's. Please come in.
So you're the one who's involved in the cooking and all of that.
Yeah.
So tell me, your family is in the grains business.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did you decide to get into cooking?
Since 8, 9 standard, 10 standard, one of my friend, Mr. Mickey, he had his restaurant and he had it from many years. And I used to always feel like to go and work in the kitchen and try to do something. When I came back over here to Bangalore in 2017, and I was just wondering, I just went and tasted the food also out over here. And then that thought came like, why not give someone Maharashtrian authentic dish to the Bangaloreans who don't get over here. The thought came to my mind like I just want to
Do the
start
misal.
with the misal pav and just one dish.
Only one dish?
Only one dish.
Ah.
Instead of whole big menus and all, it's better to serve what you're good at. And that's the thing. It started with like only one misal pav, then buttermilk and kokum sarbat to drink.
Ata, today?
Now it's like vada pav, solkadi and misal.
That's it. It's always nice to find businesses, enterprises that are focused on a few things and focused on doing it well.
And the rasa and all, everything is served on wood fire.
So this is Gavran, so the village style. So
Yeah.
it basically looks like a slightly modern contraption, but the fuel here is wood. So that's why when you come here, you should also brace yourself to soak up the entire village atmosphere. So it may be a bit smoky and you will smell that in the air, but that's part of the experience to savor that Kolhapurcha Gavran Misal. ह्याच्यात हे नाही, मटकी नाही आहे.
No.
So मटकी is separate.
Yeah, matki.
मटकी कुठे आहे? So the moth beans and some potatoes. And how long does this cook? The tari.
45 minutes, and then we keep on making it.
And basically what you see floating on top is the cut. The oil that rises to the top and has trapped within itself all the flavor of the spices.
Correct, right.
That is actually, if you ask me, the tastiest but also the spiciest part of the misal. So if you're somebody who's not accustomed to too much spice, ask them to serve you the cut on the side and you add as much cut as you would like to spice up the dish. Oh, that is a save. So this is what you use in Kolhapur.
Yeah, chivda and plus shev.
Can I taste some?
Yes, please.
So quite crunchy and crisp. थोड़ा sweetness पण आहे.
Yeah, slight.
Sugar टाकता की
No, sugar.
Oh, I
Later.
can also feel the spice now at the
Later,
end.
after taste.
Initially you're fine, you're tasting only the sweetness. And as you forget the fact that you've tasted that save chuda, suddenly you feel the assault of the spice on your throat. पण मी आजपर्यंत मिसळमध्ये हे टेस्ट नाही केलं.
अच्छा.
सगळे मोस्ट प्लेसेस दे पुट द फरसाण.
फरसाण आणि हे घालतात. हो. पुण्याकडे सगळीकडचे जरा वेगवेगळं झालं. मग
हा.
पुण्याकडे गेला, नाशिककडे गेला तर काही गाठिया किंवा जरा जाड पापडी घालतात.
पापडी घालतात. ओके, सो इट चेंजेस.
Yeah.
हे काय लादी पाव.
Yeah, lollipop. Earlier, on daily basis, I used to get the pav from Kolhapur.
So now it is made here in Bengaluru also.
Yeah.
What is important for the pav is that it should not be sweet firstly.
Yeah.
Any pav
Salted
that is sweet is not the pav that goes either into the vada pav or with the misal. So it's going to be the salted, savory
Salted.
pav, and it also should have that nice crust.
Yeah.
Slightly kadak crust on top.
Crust on top.
And should be soft and porous enough to drink up quite greedily all the
rasa.
flavors of the rasa, of the tari. I like the slightly greenish hue of that potato ladu or vada. And that green tells me that there's plenty of green chili too that
Nice.
has gone into it.
Yes.
So याच्यात काय काय आहे? Garlic आहे,
Allar, lasoon,
garlic, chili,
chilies, then dhane, jeera,
jeera,
Saka.
mustard seed आहे
mustard
का?
seeds are there,
And some lentils as well.
lentils also.
काय उडद
That's
डाळ?
our specialty. Yeah.
उडद डाळ. Seasoning मध्ये
Seasoning
टाकतात.
मध्ये करून हे करायचं.
Some curry leaf. So how different is this vada from a Bombay vada?
Bombay vada and our side, Sangli, Kolhapur and Bombay vada is little different. The thickness of the vada, upper layer, in Bombay it will be thin.
Okay.
In our side it will be little thicker, and that gives extra crunchy, crispy touch for the vada pav.
So this is the batter.
Yeah.
याच्यात थोडं राईस फ्लोअर पण टाकतात का? Crunch साठी?
क्रंच साठी घालतात, काही जण घालतात, आम्ही नाही घालत.
नाही घालत. पण हे दरदर आहे कसे आहे?
दरदर. The flour should be little thick and it shouldn't be very fine.
And there's some plenty of ajwain that goes into it.
Yeah.
So how do you make it fluff?
With oil little bit. Since grandmothers and all
That's
earlier
right.
how they used to do, the same method is still there.
That's right. So basically they take some hot oil and that goes into the batter.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So after that conversation with Sujit Lakade and looking at all the things that he has brought from Maharashtra and also that tari which is bubbling away there on that wood-fired stove, I can't wait to taste the Gavran Misal Pav. Vada Pav. Thank you very much. You know, the moment you touch that vada pav, I can feel some of its crunchy structure break down. The skin or the batter is a sort that is crunchy. And as I touch it, I can certainly sense that scrumptious structure of that casing. And I love the fact that it's sprinkled quite liberally with the ajwain, with the carom seeds. And of course, keeping company with the vada pav is the garlic chutney, the garlic shengdana chutney with the peanuts and other spices. I love the hit of the garlic and the bite of the peanut in that. And then there's also the chili, the spiced deep fried chili. So out here, don't ask for the green chutney or the sweet chutney, etc. I suppose this is how they typically eat the vada pav in Kolhapur, and that's what Sujit is trying to recreate here. Some chilies here. Of course, I think traditionally, and as I have also confirmed with him, they use the thinner chilies, which is the lavangi mirchi, but that's also a lot spicier. So perhaps the palate of Bengaluru may not be accustomed to this. The first ingredient that has said hello to me is the cumin in that batata vada and also the green chili. I can also taste the flavor of the gram flour and the ajwain or the carom seeds that it carries within its folds. The batata is slightly powdery. There's a hint of sweetness somewhere there in that potato, but it's the flavor of the homa, the ajwain in that casing, and also the jeera that is the most assertive on my palate. I haven't bitten the chili yet, but I think I need a little more of the garlic peanut to add a bit of kick to my vada pav. The punch of the garlic and the nuttiness of the peanuts. This isn't a vada pav that is too spicy. So if you like your vada pav spicy, I think you also need to bite into that chili. There's a fair bit of the salt and the masala, the spices in this. The batata vada by itself is quite pleasant and conveys very little heat on its own to the palate. And that's the reason why I think you need plenty of the garlic shengdana chutney and the green chili to lend it some heat. The ladhi pav is perfect. It's got that nice crust which tugs on the bite a bit, and on the inside it is soft and airy. And I suspect that ladhi pav will shine best in that misal that I will taste next. Well, next we come to the dish that gives this eatery its name, the Gavran Misal Pav. You have the bhaji, which is the moth bean or the madke kalu as we would call it here in Karnataka, along with the tempered smashed potatoes, and that is then topped with the tari, which is cooked on a wood fire, and that tari simmers away gently, waiting to be united with the madki. And then what they also serve here is the cut, which is served to you separately. Now this is the oil that floats to the top of that pot of tari as it is cooking, and that oil traps all the heat of that preparation, and therefore no points for guessing that this is also the spiciest part of this assemblage. My hand is trembling even as I'm going for the cut. I don't know how spicy it will be, but let's give it a shot. I think because of the fact that there's plenty of oil, and there's plenty of oil needed to make a good misal pav, right? Because without the oil, you'll have very little of the cut. Because there's plenty of oil in that cut, the heat is a sort that is a bit restrained, that doesn't shout to your taste buds right away. But as that cut seeps into your tongue and also finds its way down your throat, you can now certainly begin to sense its warmth. And this is where the Mumbai ladhi pav will shine best, to dab a bit of that cut. And now I can taste the warmth of the spices that have gone into it. Right at the beginning, when they're making the tari, I'm sure there's a lot of aromatic spices to that go in. So you can taste the warmth of some of the spices in that cut. I think enough conversing with the cut, let's get to that misal. I want to taste this misal first as is, figure out for myself how much of the cut I need to add to it. Very hot. I think the potatoes lend an interesting creaminess to that misal. The save that goes in has given itself already to the tari, and therefore I wasn't registering any of its crunch. Can I have some extra save? I can taste the moist crunch of the onion and also the bite of the madke kalu, the moth bean. And that's when I think we're enjoying that misal at its best. You want a bit of the medley of textures, that crisp and crunch from the save. You want that soft, moist bite of the onion, the creaminess of the potato, and the slightly firm yet yielding bite of the moth beans. So I am told that when you come here, they will top the misal with some save. But if you want some more save, you can ask for it by the side. And I think that's a good idea. So add some more onion and also some cut. Perhaps just a squeeze of lime, just to cut the spice of the cut. And now that misal is beginning to speak to you in a spicy Maharashtrian tongue. I think that pav works perfectly to soak up the tari and also scoop the contents of that misal safely to your mouth. as I taste this misal, the flavors here are rather simple. The spices don't really overwhelm you, neither do the individual ingredients. I think a good misal is more about the harmony of flavors and textures that the dish conveys to your palate. The other interesting thing about a misal is that it also allows you to customize it in the manner that you choose to. So if you want to add some more onions, or perhaps get some more of the cut and also some of the rasa. Some hot rasa. Extra same, well, there's a charge to it, or if you want the pav. But the tari, there is no charge to it. And I think now my misal is of the consistency that I can give my pav a leisurely dunk in that gravy. I can feel the weight of the pav now, burdened with a delicious tari of the misal. Place it in your mouth and that pav quite literally dissolves away. So you're tasting the gentle warmth of the aromats on your tongue and then the heat of the red chilies at the back of your throat. I found the batata vada to be a little shy when it came to its expression of the heat that I would typically expect from the green chilies. But this misal is beautifully balanced. I love the manner in which its spicy heat lingers on your palate. And now as my palate is accustomed to the heat of that misal, I can also now taste the refreshing herbaceousness of the coriander. And I think there's some peanuts too that I can taste in that. As I'm nearing the end of my misal, there are beads of sweat that are running down my forehead, which gives you an idea of how warming this dish can be. When you taste it initially, you don't feel much of the warmth, unless of course you've had some of the cut with the pav. But as you're tasting the misal, especially after adding some more extra save, some more cut, some more tari, you can certainly feel the warmth of the dish find its way from that katori into your tummy. The moth bean also has a nice earthy sort of a bite that cuts through the spice each time you bite on a bean. I'm also now tasting the creaminess of the potato. There's some sheng dana too. This bowl of misal may look small, but coupled with that pav and the embellishments of that extra save, the onions and that extra tari, it is certainly the sort that makes for a filling snack, especially if it comes on the heels of a vada pav. And you know you've enjoyed a dish when there's barely any remaining in the matki and you try to find ways to add some volume to it. Because I still have a piece or two of the pav that I would like to clean up this matki with. So if you want to savor something exciting, something Maharashtrian and something that harks back to the Gavran or the village cooking of Kolhapur, definitely visit Gavran Misal and taste that Misal Pav. Do support small enterprises like Gavran Misal, and when you're here, also take a look at that shelf where they have all sorts of goodies stacked from Maharashtra. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Gourmet on the Road. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay strong, and happy eating. हे मला कोकम नाही दिलं, मला कोकम द्या आणि ताक पण द्या. Some relief from the kokum. The indica garcinia. I think you should have this along with the misal in case the heat of the tari gets a bit too much. But the way to chase it all down is with a nice chilled glass of the buttermilk or the taak, as I would call it in Marathi. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating!